Today we are going to discuss the Mathews coat of arms. But before we get started, we wanted to let you know that we offer a genealogy research service at our website. Please visit us at coadb.com. The first coat of arms to discuss is blazoned or, a lion rampant sable, crest, on a mount vert, a moorcock proper, belonged to the Mathew family of Llandaff Court in County Glamorgan, Wales. They descended from Sir David Mathew of Llandaff Court, seen here, in effigy, standard bearer to King Henry VI, and a descendant of a feudal lord in Anglesey. He had sons John Mathew of Llandaff, Jenkyn Matthew, Reinebourne Mathew, and Thomas Mathew of Radur. And a later member of the family was Admiral Thomas Mathews, a British officer in the Royal Navy, who was born in 1676. Sable lion rampant argent armed in langued gules for Mathew of Radur in County Glamorgan, Wales. Sir George Mathew, son of Sir William Mathew, son of Thomas Mathew, all of Radur. He was the son of the aforementioned Sir David Mathew. And he himself had sons, or George had sons, Sir William Mathew, who died in 1587, and Edmund Mathew, who had son Captain George Mathew of Radyr Court, who died in the year 1636. Or a lion rampant sable, crest, a heathcock proper for Mathew of Ireland. Now, for the Irish ones, we weren't necessarily able to pair them up with the grantee or the armiger. We do list several possibilities in the description and the first pinned comment of this video that we show here, including the aforementioned Captain George Mathews, who died in 1636. There was a Mathews family of Bonnetstown in County Kildare, Ireland, in the 16 and 1700s that were of note, as well as a William Mathews, Esquire of Blanchfieldstown in Kilkenny, who died around the year 1732. Sable lion rampant or, crest, a dexter hand, proper, holding an annulet or stone gules, for Mathew of Thomastown in County Tipperary, Ireland. George Mathew of Thurles in Thomastown died in 1716, was the grandson of Major George Mathew of Thurles, son of Toby Mathew of Thurles in Anfield, who was the son of Captain George Mathew of Radyr Court. There was also George Mathew, son of Toby Mathew, who was son of George Mathew of Regal and Thomastown, who died in the year 1689. Here we see the family state, or the ruins of it, Thomastown Castle. Another lion with crest and eagle displayed per fess, argent, and gules for Mathew of Castelmench. I'm likely pronouncing that wrong. In Glamorgan, Wales, they descended from Robert Mathew, who was a brother of Sir David Mathew, and also Mathew of Stanstead in County Sussex, who descended from Richard Mathew of Stanstead, who had sons George and Francis. And here we see Castle, here it's spelled Castelmenach. Or a lion rampant regardant between two flaunches, sable, and each charged with a mullet argent, crest on a mount vert, a moorcock with a sprig of heath in the mouth all proper, for Mathew of Belmont in Clehonger in County Hertfordshire, England. John Mathews, born 1755, had Belmont House constructed. He was a physician and poet, and the son of William Mathew of Burton. Here we see Belmont House in the modern day. Another for Mathew of Storton Court in Kinver in County Staffordshire, England. Randall Lamb Mathews, Esquire, born 1860, a justice of the peace and mayor, the fourth son of James Mathews, born 1827. Here we see Randall Mathews and his son James Mathews in a car in front of Storton Hall in the year 1908. Sable Crucially lion rampant argent for Mathew of Llewellyn Green in County Denbigh, Wales. There was a Richard Mathew of Llewellyn Green who had daughter Dowse, who married Robert Challoner. He died in the year 1550. Same family, slightly different blazon given. This one has sable lion rampant between three crosslets argent. Sable in base, a lion rampant, and in chief, two portcullises argent, crest upon a mount vert, a hawk belled proper, in front of a gridiron oar. This is for Joseph Mathews, Esquire, Justice of the Peace of County Kent in England. Another said to be for John Mathew, Sheriff of London, Lord Mayor of London in 1490. Jeroni of 8, Sable and gules, over all a lion rampant or a border azure, seamy of crosses crosslet or, for Mathew of Braddon in County Northampton, who descended from Gaius Mathew, who died in 1677, son of Nicholas, son of John, son of William, son of John, son of Robert, all of Braddon, and that Robert was a son of Sir John Mathew, Lord Mayor of London. Also by the Mathews of Thornborough in Buckinghamshire, Thomas Mathew of Thornborough in County Buckinghamshire, son of Robert Mathew of Whitfield in Northampton, and he himself had sons Edmund, John, Thomas, and Paul. Another for Mathews of Scotland, Jeroni of 8 gules and a chief sable or, crest a cross, crosslet pitchy azure, and a palm branch in satire vert. It's very similar to the coat of arms of the Matheson family, and this was published in a book, it was contained in a book published in 1722, so we know that the arms predates that year. Gules, 3 chevrons or, born by Lemuel Mathews, born around the year 1644, Archdeacon of Down in Ireland, and by his brother, it says Man Mathews, Vicar of Swansea in Glamorganshire, Wales, sons of Marmaduke Mathews, Vicar of St. John's in Swansea. Same coat of arms with crest on an escallop gules, between 2 wings, azure a cross flory or, for Mathews of England, born by Reverend William Arnold Mathews of Bassingham Rectory in County Lincolnshire. And there is a book that states it was the coat of arms and crest of Captain George Mathews of Thurles, who died in 1636. Not sure about that. Sable a stork, proper-legged and beak gules, for Mathew of Dodbroke in County Devonshire, England. Edmund Mathew, son of Edmund, all of Dodbroke, who was the son of John Mathews of Wales, son of Jenkyn Matthews of Wales. And Edmund had son John Mathew of Milton in County Cornwall, England, who was alive in the year 1620. Sable a stork, close argent, a border of the second, for Mathew of St. Kew in County Cornwall, England. John Mathew of St. Kew, alive in the year 1540, had son William Mathew of Pennytinny, who had son John Mathew of Pennytinny, who had son William Mathew of Pennytinny and Trushanger. Mathew of Trushanger and Pennytinny, very similar to the previous slide, descended from William Mathew of Pennytinny. And it looks like there was Richard Mathew of Trushanger, who died in 1702. Sable a stork argent within a border of the last, crest a stork as in the arms, born by George Mathew, Esquire of Fowlers in Hawkhurst, County Kent, alive in the year 1823, and by Abednego Mathew of Lythe in Shropshire, who was alive in the year 1826. Sable a stork proper, a border argent, crest on a mount vert, a heathcock proper, for Mathew of Felix Hall in County Essex, England. Daniel Byam Mathew, son of Daniel Mathew, who was Sheriff of Essex, were both of Felix Hall, and Daniel was the son of Captain William Mathew of the Leeward Islands, who was the son of Sir William Mathew, who died in 1704 and was the governor of the Leeward Islands. And ultimately they descended from a Nicholas Mathew, who died in 1608. Here we see the family estate of Felix Hall. Azure, 3 lions rampant or, on a chief argent, as many crosses crosslet fitchy sable, for Mathew of Blodwell in Shropshire, England. Edward Mathews of Blodwell died in 1713, third son of Robert Mathews of Blodwell. There was also a Roger Mathews of Blodwell, who had daughter and heiress Ursula, born in 1673, who we see here, who married into the Bridgeman family. Similar coat of arms with crest a lion's gam erect, holding a crosslet and pale sable. For Mathew of Pentlow Hall in Essex, Captain Henry Coldham Mathew, Esquire of Pentlow, born 1828, was a justice of the peace and the son of Reverend Edward William Mathew, Vicar of Coggas Hall, the son of William Mathew Esquire, alive in the year 1787. Here we see the family estate of Pentlow Hall. Gules, 3 Catherine wheels, argent, on a chief of the second, a bull's head, coupe sable. Crest, a bull's head, coupe sable. Between 2 wings, endorsed argent, for Mathew of Great Gobians in Essex and of Edmonton in Middlesex. The Mathews Baronetcy of Gobians in the county of Essex was a title created in the Baronetage of England in 1662 for Sir Philip Mathews, Fellow of the Royal Society of London, and the title became extinct on the death of the second Baronet, Sir John Mathews, in the year 1708. Gules, 3 chevrons interlaced argent, crest and arm in armor holding a sword proper, for Mathews of Ireland. And again, some possibilities for who it belonged to. We don't have the escutcheon or the shield on this one, but the crest is a dexter arm in armor, embowed, holding a sword proper, said to be for Mathew of Perth in Scotland. Argent, 3 blackcocks for Mathew of Llandaff in Glamorganshire. Sable, a martlet argent for Mathew of Monmouth in Wales. Gules, on the fess between 2 dexter hands couped at the wrist, argent, and in chief, and in base an antique crown or. A Moor's head, coupe proper, between 2 crosses patée of the field. Crest, issuing from an antique crown, a hand brandishing a scimitar and fess proper. For Colonel John Smart Mathew, born 1864, he served in World War I and was the son of John Mathews of Dundee, who died in the year 1879. Barry Wavy of 4 sable and argent, a fleece between 3 billets or. Crest, on a wreath of the colors, a water bouquet purpure, thereon a sparrow proper. For Mathews of Shanghai, China, Frederick Newman Mathews, alive in the year 1908, was an accountant who joined a partnership in Shanghai, a firm that became known as Lowe, Bingham, and Mathews. Gules, on a pile ermine between 2 swords erect proper, pommeled and hilted or, a rose of the first, barbed and steeded proper. Crest, on a wreath, argent, and gules, in front of a rising sun or, a maple leaf proper. This was the coat of arms and crest of James Skit Mathews, Esquire, born 1878, a major of the 102nd Regiment, and an archivist in Vancouver, Canada, the son of Herbert Lewis Mathews of Newton and County Montgomery, Wales. And here we see James Skit Mathews. Now this one we showed on the previous slide and we assigned it to Mathews, Lord Mayor of London, but here it looks like we have it noted as belonging to Mary Mathew, granted in 1558, daughter and heiress of Thomas Mathew of Colchester, and the wife of Sir Andrew Jude. Argent effects between 3 birds sable. Azure and eagle displayed or. Azure and eagle displayed with 2 heads argent. Sable, a chevron between 3 escallops argent. Quarterly argent and sable, in the first quarter a rock proper, and in the second a lozenge of the first. Argent FS sable between 3 lions rampant gules, as many mullets of the field. Argent on the chevron gules, 3 quatrefoils of the first. Per pale gules azure, 3 lions rampant ermine. And lastly, gules, 3 mallets argent. And if you enjoyed this video, please visit us at coadb.com, where we offer genealogy research service, high-resolution digital JPEGs, and heraldic merchandise such as t-shirts, posters, mugs, and canvas prints. Like and share, link in the subscription. Thank you very much.